Long time, folks. Ren, where you been? Well, in the last 24 hours. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I have been all over the place. So let's get started. I want to talk to you guys a little bit. Ooh, I'm so hot. About raising standards, or how it's okay to have exceptionally high standards during this time. So where is this even coming from? Well, that I feel like is a whole nother video on its own. But to keep it short, a lot of times, especially in my old previous life, I was noticing that I had extremely high standards, but everybody else, it was just almost like abnormal. And it was like, why aren't you like us? I mean, everything seems to work out for us. And so from then, I genuinely have lowered so many of my own standards in the past, in friendships, in relationships, with even people I would just talk to. I mean, I do believe in making peace with the past. So it's not like I'm necessarily running from it. I'm not haunted or wanted or anything like that necessarily by my past. But, as I continue to just do a little bit of reflection on it, it's like, how many times have, just even in business, in friendships, and relationships, have you lowered your standards? How many times were you thinking, wow, okay, like it seemed normal to you, but somehow along the way you thought your mentality or the way you were thinking was not normal, and that maybe you should just kind of come down for a little bit, that maybe your expectations and your standards were astronomically not matchable. It's just like, what human being is going to match that? And what kind of messages were you getting? For me, it was a lot of, well, gosh, Marina K, you're expecting a lot. I experienced a lot in my family. I told you guys a lot, but some of the things that I experienced were like issues coming from my mother, and how she would just say, oh, look at these men who were influential in your life, your uncles, look how amazing they are. And all I would see, they would come and just drink 3, 4, 5 bottles of Heineken when they all got together, and I'm supposed to think that was cool. But it doesn't matter what they, it doesn't matter what they do, that they're drinking all day. Look, they are incredible people. They work as people who practice medicine, internal medicine. This one practices law for the United States government. This one does this one does that. They're just such amazing guys. So I lowered a lot of my standard because I was just thinking, well, it doesn't really matter so much of the character. It just kind of matters as long as they have a great resume. That was a lowered standard of mine. Again, I was just seeing it again and again, and getting physical with people. It was just kind of like, well, I'm not really going to do that too early. And then what happened? Lowered standard, another one. In friendships, I don't want to tell somebody's secret, and then other people just telling mine all my business. Another lowered standard, a lowered standard, that this kind of became the norm. So I want you guys to really think about different areas of your life, different aspects, different portions, different areas of your life where you felt, what the heck? Honestly, I think I really have lowered my standard, and maybe that wasn't cool. Maybe it wasn't cool at that time. Maybe it's not even cool now. Maybe you're in a place where you're like changing a lot of things, and what was done before isn't looking so hot now. I want you all to also think about some of the things that you have done in your past that you've maybe wanted to sort of kind of make peace with. Because again, remember I talked to you about your kryptonite? So making sure that you are healing all aspects of your past, so when something does come up, it's not like it's going to be something that's going to melt you. Especially as much as so many of you are growing as big as you are going, and as high as you're accelerating and being pushed, or being pulled up So I don't really want to harp so much on mistakes, but it's important to kind of understand, you know, how things have affected us. I want to show you something because I'm kind of distracted. I just finished eating at like one of the vegetarian buffets that I showed you. And it's like, how can you get so full off a salad? But I'm seriously leaning over, heavy breathing and everything. Like, this is a theme park, I guess. This is where a lot of the teens come and hang out and have different colored hair and stuff. So that's pretty much the thing, right? Where were the lowered standards? And now is your season changing? So as you're documenting a lot of this stuff inside of yourself internally, what are some of the changes that have happened? For example, maybe once there was an external need, a need to be very, oh, this is so sweet. Let me show you. It's very typical here to bring roses. So yeah, maybe there were several or a few lowered standards, and it's just kind of like, how did I get here? Well, just taking a few backtracks, like a few steps back of just saying like, what happened? How did I get here? What was my deal? And to really understand that helps us to pull ourselves back up. So as you're journaling, I want you to really focus on those things. What were some of the standards I had, and who taught me some of the things that, like, was it peer pressure? Was it inside of my family? Was it my own thoughts? Did I randomly have friends that like somehow sowed random seeds of, they just, you know how you keep some friends around and you're like, why do they act like that? And you don't know, like some people are genuine about it and just kind of like, and we'll talk a little bit about having grace a little bit and, you know, pursuing holiness and not so much judging people for their actions, because we're really not in their shoes. We really don't know. For example, I was walking with someone and I had just really gotten over it. I was really sick of just hearing, hey, 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 and like like, you know. And one woman was just like, one guy said something, he's like, I'm single. And I turned around, I was like, you would not be the last person on earth. And the girl was like, why would you say that? That was so rude. And I was like, listen, after 15, 20, whatever times a day, sometimes you just like, it's the wrong day. I mean, and she was like, I would never say that. Well, never say never. Just never say never. We're not in the person's shoes. You don't know. It's not like somebody's walking around. I'm disrespecting people 24/7, but had you seen me earlier? Have you seen some of the things I'd seen or experienced during that day? Maybe it was the same person who was saying this. Everything is sometimes without context. But only you have the true context of your own life. So before you start like eliminating all this stuff, I want you to really just write down and really understand what kind of messages was I getting. Was it a friend that I had who had perpetually demonstrated horrible habits, and I just kind of like picked that up, and that was a seed that somehow grew mentally or in my spirit? Was it verbal messages I was getting about dating and relationships? For example, my parents' relationship, as I've told you guys, is not so perfect. And I would often hear always like my dad would be weird and my mom would be overly. So I would talk to people and they would just start acting weird out of no reason. And then I would just be overly loving. But no, what happened? And just kind of being like that without realizing, whoa, wait, okay, you just crossed the line. Now, how are you disrespecting me like that? It comes to points like this where we have to ask ourselves, what are these behaviors? What are these standards? And what happened? Who influenced me? And then I want you to make another list. When you find out you're going to be one of the most successful people in the world, now that you know that, let's just say maybe the richest person in your continent, What do you want people to know? What is it that you wish everybody would know? What kind of pearls of wisdom would you give to people? And then what pearls of wisdom would you give to yourself? All right, guys. Don't lower your standards. Keep them up. Just get back up. It's all right. Everybody falls, but there's no shame in that. When I look at a lot of people who are amazing, who are always open about some of the things that their struggles, I don't want to judge them. I don't think that's a fair thing to do. I think it's quite admirable when a lot of people who fall, maybe they're in AA, and they say, hey, you guys, you know, it's been 10 years and something happened, and I up and relapsed. This was even in The Chosen. If you saw the last 2 episodes of the last season, season 2, and just seeing Mary fall like that because she was triggered, that demon. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, check it out. But it's normal, right, to fall. You know, we all fall down, but we get back up. So just get up. Don't worry so much about what happened. But just keep going. Sometimes it's like fear of STDs, or it's an actual pregnancy that happened, or it was a divorce in your situation, or it was an attempted suicide, or it was an eating disorder. I don't know what it is for you. It could have been multiple things, but it's okay. Get back up. You got this. Just keep writing. Keep your journal and everything like that. Keep moving forward. And I look forward to hearing from you. You guys, drop me a comment below and let me know what standards you're changing, or you're picking back up, actually. Okay. See you on the next one. Bye.